Spencer Oliver is with us this lunchtime, and there's a big one on Sunday night, Simon, because this Sunday TalkSPORT brings you live an exclusive commentary of the British heavyweight title fight between Fabio Wardley and Frazer Clarke from London's O2 Arena. This is a huge one, I have to say. We've been building up to it. We know both these fighters, both of them good lads, but it's all down to who wants it most on Sunday night. And as I say, it is live on TalkSPORT. I mean, there are big fights and big fights, but this is right up there, Spencer, isn't it?
Absolutely. Listen, the British heavyweight title is always a big fight. You know, the winner goes on to try and achieve more, and the loser, it's all about rebuilding. But this is a fantastic fight. I mean, Frazer Clarke is the guy with the extensive amateur history, Olympic bronze medalist, World Games, European Games medalist. And you go, Fabio Wardley's the guy that's come through that white-collar boxing and learnt his trade really on the job. He's 17-0, 16 KOs, but he's proven. Like Nathan Gorman, when he boxed for the British title, he won that fight in 3 rounds. It was a fight that he was meant to lose. People expected Gorman to win that one. Last time out against David Adelaide out in Saudi Arabia. Again, you know, high hopes for David Adelaide, and a lot of people felt he would come through that one, and Wardley proved tough again. So, like I say, it's the proven guy against the Olympian with the extensive history, Frazer Clarke, who's only had 8 fights as a professional, but fantastic fight.
Yeah, Simon, we'll get your take in it in a second, but Spencer, where is this won and lost? Have you an idea of what we're about to see unfold?
Yeah, I think that it's one from Frazer Clarke if he can prove that he can go through the levels, because we've not seen that yet, and that's why Wardley will start the favourite. Fabio Wardley, we've seen he can go through the levels, he can bite down on his gum shield. I know that Frazer can do that as well because he's tough. I've seen that the 3 or 4 fights that he had with Joe Joyce as an amateur. You saw him biting down on his gum shield there, so you know that that's in him. But we need to see him go through the levels. At the moment, like I say, Fabio Wardley is the proven one. And we know he can do that. So the fight is won by Wardley by doing what he does. And he's very heavy-handed. Frazer's got a tendency to cut. That's how he lost the Olympics. That's why he got the bronze medal, because he sustained a cut there. So Fabio will start the favourite, but Frazer's got to prove himself. And this is the fight. It's a coming-of-age fight for him.
Yeah. I think, for you, Simon, Wardley, am I right? Just edges it.
Yeah, I mean, I like both fighters, and obviously Frazer's had a couple of fights in between. Originally, when this fight was called a while ago, to get more experience, to have longer rounds, because he was only fighting 8-round fights, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And so now both fighters are ready. Fabio's been ready for some time. I think if you look at the recent performances, you judge a man by the calibre of the people that he's beaten in recent times. And if you look at the performances of Frazer against Marius Wack and against Dave Allen, not the comedian with the one finger, but the boxer, and you think to yourself, well, there's nothing from that really tells me that Frazer is in great nick right now. Whereas you look at Fabio's performance against David Adelaide, and you say, yeah. So I think the momentum is with Fabio, but I do think it's a marginal pick'em, and from that point of view, I pick Fabio Wardley.
Fair enough. I mean, we'll find out more about where Frazer has got to, because his trainer, Angel Fernandez, will join us at the other side of the upcoming break. You know, Spence, when you look at it, Taylor against Castro, Khan against Brute, Okole against Billam Smith, Boatsy Aziz, in terms of these great British bouts, does Sunday night have the potential to eclipse that lot?
Absolutely. Well, listen, it has the potential to be up there with that lot because of what's on the line. You know, when these fighters get the British title opportunity, I don't know what it is about the British title, but it means something to them. You know, like, this is the first big break, really. And Fabio obviously has got that British title, but you always get classics for the British title. And I think both of these guys, with their undefeated records and with what's potentially lies ahead of them, you know, with the big money out in Saudi Arabia, putting the winner of this possibly puts their name up there with those big names.
Yeah.
There's a lot on the line, and you know, knowing the characters of both of these guys, yes, it has the potential to be up there with with those fights you mentioned.
Well, the real showman, Ben Whittaker, is on the undercard. He's up against Leon Willings. That's a light heavyweight. Elsewhere, Callum Simpson will take on Dule Mbabe. That's super middleweight. There's a few decent ones, more than decent ones, before we get to Wardley Clarke, including Florian Marku against Chris Congo at welterweight. Remember, these two went at it when they were in here recently.
I would say he sees himself as the A side.
Is that the way you see it?
No, that's the way he sees it.
Okay, so you see yourself as the A side as well?
As the A side, of course.
Only from this question, from this answer, you can understand that he's weak inside him and he doesn't believe. Why
Never.
I say that?
Never.
Why I say that? Because if I was in his position, I'm gonna say the true thing. You think he is the A side? He's begging for this fight with me. He is doing I want this fight. I want to play with Florian. I am the A side. He knows that.
I remember that when they were in here, Simon, not that long ago. Marco's got a heck of a support behind him. He'll bring a lot of his own people on the night. Chris Congo was very quiet, very calm, considered. I wonder if we're going to see something explosive between these two.
I mean, Spencer can speak to it better than me. If you look at the psychology of the way that they interacted inside the studio, there was an inhabitation of the role of someone more confident from Florian Marco. The better fighter is Chris Congo. If he doesn't get drawn into the fight that Florian Marco wants to draw him into, I think he boxes his head off.
Yeah.
But that's up to Chris.
It's a fantastic fight. Both guys have got great trainers. You know, Florian Marco is now teamed up with Grant Smith, Dalton Smith's father, up there in Sheffield. And Chris Congo is now teamed up with Ben Davison. And obviously with the camp that surround him, with Anthony Joshua and everyone that's going on there. Yeah. And so, like, success breeds success. Both guys have got very good camps. They're going to come with good game plans. Like Simon said, I think that Chris Congo is the better boxer. But he can tough it out as well. We saw that he lost his last fight to Echo Esserman last year, but he toughed it out. It was a nip and tuck fight. Could have gone sort of either way. Echo Esserman got the nod in that one,
deservedly so.
Yeah. But Florian Marco is a guy. He's coming off a good win. Was it Dillian Morgan? I think he won in 60 seconds. Looked explosive in doing that. Since teaming up with Grant Smith, I think he's more refined now as a fighter. Where he was just rough and winning him through 1,000 punches a minute. It was just like, it was one of those guys. Now there's a little bit more technique, a little bit more
Is he being trained
process.
by Dalton's dad?
Yes.
Is he?
Yes,
right.
he is.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, if you go to the O2 on Sunday night, though, you're assured, I would have thought, of entertainment, because Leon Willings has a job in his hand against the extremely entertaining Ben Whittaker. He of the showboating habit. Ben was in here last month. He spoke about that showboating aspect of his game.
I keep saying this is method to the madness. You know, you're doing it for a reason. You're not just doing it for the views, the likes, trying to show off. You're doing it because it's a tactic. Maybe I've had a bit too many smarties in the change room and I get a bit carried away. But this game's all about showmanship, you know. I could have easily got the job done pretty simple, but taking that risk, it gets the fans out the chair, makes them want to pay. And at the end of the day, they're paying their hard-earned money, so that's what it's about.
You know, you can't fault him for that, Simon. In the process of winning fights, which he does spectacularly, he does a bit of showboating, Spence, but more than just a bit of it.
Absolutely. You know, that's what he's like, though. I mean, we remember a young Nassim Hamid when he first burst onto the scene. You know, some people loved it. It's a bit of Marmite, really. You love it or you hate it. But Naz proved that he actually could back that up, you know, and people started to appreciate it. I think with Ben Whittaker, I think Simon agrees with me with that. You know, this guy is an exceptional talent, a standout talent.
Yeah.
And he's going in against Leon Willings here, who likes to showboat himself. But he's a central area champ. I'm not sure he's going to get away with that showboating with Ben Whittaker on Sunday. But yeah, again, another good fight for Ben. You watch him develop. But I think that Ben Whittaker will be the standout fighter in this country.
There's always a chance the showboater gets caught, as we saw with Nassim all these years ago with Antonio Barrera.
That's levels.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not fighting at those levels right now, so I don't expect him to be caught anytime soon unless he's really, really sloppy. But, you know, I like it. I think there's a level and a time to do it, and I think we'll see if he does it when he gets all the way to the top, a bit like Naz did. When Naz was fighting people like Kevin Kelly, he was still doing that sort of stuff.
Yeah, Tom Johnson.
What
Boom
Johnson, yeah, absolutely. So you look at those sort of things and you think there's a level. But I think Ben Whittaker, the sport needs characters. It needs charisma. It needs that little bit of sizzle sometimes, not just all the sear. And he brings it alongside the fact that he's a really, really good fighter.
He's an accomplished fighter, isn't he?
Yeah.